Absolute nightmare for any tourist, ending in tragedy. A crackdown on a scam that's becoming more and more common, designed to prey upon your empathy. A tourist saying they have a very specific fear that is actually somewhat Thailand specific. And of course, Songkran 2026 is all but upon us. The celebration of the Thai New Year, biggest party of the year in Thailand, biggest water fight in the world. So if you're gonna be here for it, where should you go? What should you do? What should you keep an eye out for to make sure that you have a really good time and you get the full experience without any negatives? Let's get into it. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. You know what we like to say. If you're not, go to bed, wake up tomorrow, and try it again. So, perusing the internet this past week or so, we've got some developing stories coming out of Thailand that I wanted to share with you guys, just so you can be informed, right? There's nothing wrong with being informed. I would encourage it even. And then, of course, Songkran is upon us. If you are in Thailand for the first time, this is going to be your first Songkran experience. I believe this will be my third. And knowing what I know now, compared to the first one, there's a few things you should have in mind, a few things you should do, some things you should be aware of, even some things you should avoid to make sure you get the full experience, you have a good time. So if you are going to be here for the biggest party of the year in Thailand, make sure you stick it out through the entire video. But we've also got some more important stories today, talking about some unfortunate tragedies that have happened recently in Thailand. Something that if you're a tourist coming here and you see stories like this, it may be something that you're worried about, but in all reality, it's something that is not very common, although you do need to be aware of it. And then a specific situation that is very unique to Thailand, something that I was not ready for when I first got here. And it may spin a somewhat different narrative than we are used to hearing. So without further ado, let's get into the stories. Our first story today is unfortunately a tragic one. Phuket speedboat explosion kills Thai tour guide and injures 5 others. A Thai tour guide died and 5 other crew members were injured in a Phuket speedboat explosion at about 11 a.m. yesterday, March 6 at Coco Pier in Vichit Subdistrict, Muang District, Phuket. The explosion was reported on the speedboat called Tequila while it was moored at the pier. Volunteer firefighters and rescue workers rushed to the scene after the blast was followed by a fire. CCTV footage from a nearby camera captured the moment of the incident. The video reportedly showed the speedboat exploding without any prior sign of malfunction, with 3 people seen scrambling out of the boat in panic. According to Channel 7, 6 people were on board at the time, including a tour guide, technicians, and boat workers. The vessel had been scheduled for servicing that day and was docked at the pier for repairs and an engine oil change. 5 injured crew members were taken to the hospital, while 24-year-old tour guide Kompet Wandi was initially reported missing. A volunteer dive team from the Kusol Dam Phuket Foundation later searched for him. Divers found Kompet's body trapped inside the damaged speedboat underwater at about 3:10 p.m. yesterday. One of the injured crew members, Kompet Arundate, was reported to be in critical condition and remained under close care from the medical team at Vachira Phuket Hospital. This is really unfortunate, and especially to hear that that tour guide was only 24 years old. Man, I think back to where I was when I was 24, and when you're that age, you feel like you're, grown. You feel like you're an adult, but I'm sure, as you guys probably know yourselves, as you get older, you look back and you're like, wow, I was just a kid. So that is really unfortunate. Condolences go out to their loved ones. I really do hope his family gets some type of closure, in regards to at least figuring out why this happened so it can be avoided in the future. And the main reason I wanted to touch on this story, I saw it was shared on Facebook, and there were a lot of comments about people that are coming to Thailand soon saying, oh, well, we want to get around and we want to go do some tours. And if you don't know, especially down in the south of Thailand, this is pretty much how you get around, is on these boats. Yes, there's ferries and stuff you can take as well, but for the most part, especially if you want to do island hopping, this is what you're going to be doing. So justifiably, in my opinion, there were some people in the comments who were concerned, saying, hey, we had plans to do this and ride these boats. Is it safe? Should we avoid it? So I just wanted to touch on it and say, 99.999% of the time, you're going to have 0 problems if this is something you want to do. The way that I look at it is, a lot of these operators, this boat is their entire life. This boat is their moneymaker. It's, how they feed themselves and their families. So generally they are really well taken care of. Now, are they going to be, some multi-million-dollar yacht that you see harbored, in Santa Monica somewhere? No, these are working boats. They're getting used every day. So they might look a little bit beat up, but I can promise you, especially in Thailand, people are very tech savvy. So these boats are generally in plenty good condition. Another thing, pretty much all of the Coast Guard in Thailand in specific areas, they require X amount of life vests for whatever your boat is rated for. So that is one thing I would advise, of course, when you get onto a boat, just make sure there's life vests for everybody. If it makes you feel better, a lot of the time they will hand them out to you as soon as you get on. So you can either put it on or you can sit on it. Make sure you have it right there. Minus that, you will be entirely safe. God forbid some accident does happen. There are so many of these boats going around. If something does happen and you do end up in the water, there's so many boats going around, you will more than likely be found very quickly. So if this is something you want to do, I know this story might be a little bit intimidating. It might look scary at first, but I would imagine this is a freak accident type of deal. I'm going to follow up to, see if they have any more idea of what actually caused this, but this is not a thing that occurs regularly. If you want to take some boat trips, you want to go around island hopping, don't be worried. It's like we said, grab a life jacket and you should be fine. Now, rolling right into our next story, 3 boys rescued from child begging ring in Nakhon Pathom. A husband and wife were arrested in Nakhon Pathom yesterday, April 2nd, after police uncovered an alleged child begging gang operation and rescued 3 boys from years of exploitation. The 2 suspects, 36-year-old Artorn and 32-year-old Pim Wimon, were arrested in Tekong sub-district. They were accused of human trafficking for forced begging, along with unlawfully exploiting children through coercion and threats. Police said the pair allegedly took children under 18 and forced them to beg at major tourist sites. These included the market around Phra Pathomcheri, temple fairs, and concerts in Nakhon Pathom and nearby provinces, as well as Pattaya. So why did I want to touch on this article? If you're in Thailand, one thing you are going to see, it's not rampant like some people say. They try to make it sound like there's just hordes of kids everywhere running around and begging, but you will see kids. I haven't seen a ton that are just straight up begging. Most of the time what you're going to see is they're going to come up, they're going to be selling something, whether it be roses, candy, or whatever. And when I first got here, granted, being from America, we pretty much, no matter where you're from in America, you're probably going to have some type of experience with homelessness, people trying to get money from you on the streets. But I'm sure you are the same. When it comes to me, if I see a kid and I, for some reason think that kid might be going without, of course, at least hopefully you should feel some type of way and want to help them out, right? It's innate to our nature. See a kid, that might be hungry or whatever, of course you want to help them out. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. If you do see one of these kids, if you come up to sell you a rose or whatever, I'm not saying just don't do anything. I'm not saying flat out just don't buy anything. What I will say is the way that I look at it, although ideally you would love to think like, okay, I'm giving this kid this money, that directly translates to that kid getting a good meal tonight or new clothes for school or whatever, right? But the truth is, not all the time. Sometimes, though, that's just not what's going to happen. I had one specific experience over in Jomtien Beach down by Pattaya. I don't remember. I think it was some candy or something. I bought it off the kid. I was sitting there on the beach. I watched him. He ran down to only what I could assume was his dad, judging by his age, pulled out the money I just gave him, gave it to his dad while his dad sat there and drank beer. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody. Of course, I'm sure there's genuine people out there who are struggling and they're just trying to do what they can to get by, and I respect that. The one thing I would consider if you do come across this situation is it gets to a point where you might be enabling this type of behavior. You know what I mean? Of course, it's not the kid's fault at all, but if the parent isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing and they learn, hey, we can just send our kid out and tourists are going to give them money and we don't ever have to go to work or whatever, you kind of start to enable that behavior, right? So what I started doing is if I saw one of these kids or whatever, I would just offer to buy them something. The easy one for me was always, hey, not going to give you money, but if you want to, let's go to 7-Eleven and you can get whatever you want. I'll buy you food, whatever. And one thing that's really cool is a lot of the times these kids would go in there and they would get some candy and stuff, of course, but then they were, buying milk, bread, eggs. So it was really, heartwarming to see that they were obviously thinking about their family. Not telling you how to live your life. If you're okay with that or you genuinely want to buy whatever they have, go for it. But just something to consider. Sometimes it is a little bit more in depth than what you might see on the surface. Now, rolling right into our next story, this is probably my favorite of the day because I can relate to it big time. Tourist says they fear dogs, not humans, when walking on Thai streets. A foreign tourist has shared a video comparing walking safety in California and Thailand. It is a stark difference, I can tell you that much. Saying she felt less concerned about people in Thailand, but stayed alert for dogs that might chase her on the street. In the clip, the tourist described what she called as the main differences between California and Thailand when walking outdoors. She said that in the United States, she had to keep looking over her shoulder to watch out for people, while in Thailand, she was not worried about people and instead focused on dogs, particularly strays. Quote unquote, the thing I have to worry about is a dog chasing me down the road, the tourist said, adding that this was the key difference for them while living in Thailand. For the most part, I 100% agree with this. Now, you're gonna see street dogs almost everywhere in Thailand. Some places they're more dense than others, and it can be pretty intimidating at first, especially when there's squads of them. I'll tell you though, I've only had maybe 2 encounters of a street dog that was genuinely, seemed like they were gonna bite me, or they wanted to at least, only a couple times. One thing that is more common is them chasing you if you're riding by on a motorbike. One thing I will tell you, my kind of rule of thumb is usually if it's a dog by itself, you don't really have to worry about them too much. It's when they get into a big old pack, it can get a little bit more hectic, to say the least. I have had to pick up a stick before because I was out kind of in the middle of nowhere and I saw these dogs saw me from a long way off and came running. So I kind of figured that's what the deal was. But a lot of the time, these dogs are around people all day, right? There's tons of people in Thailand, both locals and foreigners, that feed these dogs regularly. So most of the time, they're pretty friendly. Of course, keep your wits about you. But in regards to the human to dog comparison, I agree about 99%. Absolutely. We've said it before on the channel. Thailand is a very, very safe place. Things that you just kind of assume as second nature in America, you don't really have to worry about as much here. But with that said, this doesn't mean, be naive. Don't be naive. Don't go around and put yourself in situations or, bad things happen in every country. So just try to avoid those situations altogether, right? And you're probably going to be much better well off, in my opinion. But yes, I agree. You're much more likely to have to deal with a bit of a crazy dog than a human. But although the dogs are chill, one thing that I have learned during my time in Thailand, monkeys. I love all animals, but I'll tell you, I think monkeys are the bane of my existence. I don't know if I just got a specific look about me or what, but everywhere I have been where there have been monkeys, it has been an absolute nightmare. They will try to steal your stuff. They will intimidate you for food. They will try to bite you. They will climb all over your motorbike and poop and pee all over it. Don't ask me how I know that. I would say keep an eye out for monkeys much more than dogs or humans. And now we are 3 days away, at least from when this video is being posted, to Songkran 2026. Quick crash course, if you don't know, Songkran, Thailand is the Thai New Year's. Everybody celebrates by partying, of course, and then everybody just goes out in the streets and has a massive water fight. Seems pretty easy off the rip, but there are some pro tips I'm gonna give you, as well as if you're in Bangkok, where should you go? What should you do? Are some places better than others? Where's the best party? Let's get into it. Where to celebrate Songkran in Bangkok 2026. Bangkok does Songkran at full volume, and 2026 is shaping up to be one of the biggest years yet. From world-class music festivals and riverside dining to free public celebrations and traditional blessing ceremonies. The city has more going on this April than any single person could cover for the Thai New Year. That is also a very cool part about New Year's celebrations in Thailand, is a lot of these festivals and stuff, they're free. You can just go hang out. There'll be artists, bands, whatever's. Then there's some more bigger ones that bring international artists and stuff. You'll have to pay for those, but let's get into it. Where to go out or get soaked in Bangkok during Songkran in 2026. Central Pattaya, Thailand Songkran Festival. Dates April 1st to the 19th. So the actual celebration is usually a 2 or 3 week thing, but the water fights usually go on in specific days in specific areas. So depending on where you at, look that up and you should be able to find which dates are going to be popping for the water fights for you. But locations, multiple Central locations nationwide. If you don't know, Central is a big chain of shopping malls in Thailand. Central Pattaya is putting 500 million baht behind its 2026 Songkran program, and it shows. The centerpiece is Central World in the heart of Bangkok, which runs 6 days of non-stop events, including Pepsi presents Thailism 2026, a beach party music festival from April 11th to the 13th. One Bangkok Soon's National Songkran Festival 2026, April 10th to 15th. Price, opening night free for One Bangkok members. One Bangkok Songkran Festival is one of the more well-rounded options in the city this year. The 6-day program blends large-scale water play, cultural workshops, and live entertainment across the venue. The grand opening on April 10th runs from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. under the theme The Awakening of Water, with free concerts from Tilly Birds, Atlas, and Potato. I love that. Is a great name for an artist or a band. I'm not sure, but a Potato, I love that. Next one, Icon Siam Thaiconic Songkran 2026. Dates April 10th to 15th. Price free. Location Icon Siam, which is another very big shopping mall here in Bangkok. Icon Siam is positioning its Songkran as one of Bangkok's most prominent riverside celebrations, and the program leans more heritage forward than some of the heavier music events on this list. Alongside the cultural programming, the venue brings its usual visual scale to the water zones and entertainment areas, making it a useful middle ground option, more tourist friendly and visually impressive than a local temple event, but not purely party driven. So it sounds like you get a little bit of that authenticity Thai Songkran experience, which I think is really cool. Up next, Pepsi presents X Festival 2026. Dates April 10th to 15th. Price ticketed. I'm guessing they vary depending on what you're trying to do. X Festival is worth considering for readers who want a music and water event with a more structured premium feel. Event Pop describes it as a high energy Songkran celebration, combining music, water, and large-scale production alongside an ex-beach club town with curated food, drinks, and festival hangout areas. There's no standing zone inside. Entry is tied to the table and seating arrangements with limited availability, which gives the whole thing a more organized and slightly more premium atmosphere than a loose walk-around event. And this next one, if you're really trying to get your party on, trying to go full-blown festival mode, this one is probably the one for you. S2O Songkran Music Festival 2026. Dates April 11th to 13th. Price ticketed. Locations S2O Land Ratchada Road, close to the MRT Thailand Cultural Center stop. S2O is the top pick for anyone who wants the biggest water and music experience of the Songkran weekend. Now at its new S2O Land venue on Ratchada Road, the festival runs 3 days of electronic music with large-scale water effects. 2026 lineup is headlined by Alan Walker, Steve Aoki, Lost Frequencies, and I Hate Models on day one alone, with more names confirmed across the weekend. This is not a general Songkran fair with music added in. It is a full festival built for people who want headline DJs, serious production, and a crowd that is specifically there for the party. You can find the tickets via the Event Pop website. So that is just a few. This list continues to go on, and this is just in Bangkok. So depending on where you are, look it up. There is going to be a bounty of places for you to go have fun and celebrate, so make sure you check that out. If you want to hop over and check out the full list of Bangkok events, you can head on over to the Tiger. Just go up there, search Songkran, and you can check out the article we're referencing here. Now, with what to do in mind, let me give you a couple pro tips that I have learned through my previous Songkran experiences. Number one, glasses are a must. It might sound kind of weird, but even you see people wearing full-blown like lab goggles. Why? Because there is always that dude with the crazy high-powered water gun that thinks it's funny to just deliberately spray people in the eyes. I hate that aspect of it, but what can you do? And the thing about it is too, is a lot of the water that's being used in the guns is tap water, especially if you're new to Thailand. There's going to be a lot of critters in that water that you probably don't want getting in your eyes. So that is something to consider. My two biggest points of advice when it comes to Songkran have to do with transportation. When I'm telling you this is a nationwide party, this is a nationwide party, so it is very, very difficult to get around anywhere. So plan to leave early for wherever you're going. A big part of Songkran is people piling in the back of pickup trucks. They'll be back there with a huge drum of water, just driving around, playing music, having fun, dousing people, so that just adds to the traffic. The logistics of getting around do become much more of a nightmare, not only because of the traffic, but of course taxis are running a little bit less. A lot of drivers don't want their cars full of soaking wet people. The motorcycle taxi guys don't want to drive around and get soaked if they don't have to. So that is something to consider. And if you are considering driving yourself around, like we said, this is a nationwide party. They have, especially in Bangkok, come out and said there's going to be a lot of restrictions on drinking. So they are trying to crack down on this, but an unfortunate reality is every year during Songkran, the DUI deaths spike quite a bit. People are having fun. They want to run around, go do different stuff. So people are drinking. That is something to really think about if you want to hop on your bike and cruise around, especially when it gets a little bit later in the day. I pretty much advised against it, not only because of the people drinking, but the roads are wet. You're getting splashed in the face as you're trying to drive. I just think it's pretty dangerous. But if you want to do it, live your life. Those are some things to consider. And one last thing, buy a waterproof bag, because when I'm saying you are soaked to the bone, you are soaked to the bone, whether it be your money, your wallet, your phone, your camera, whatever. Make sure it's in a waterproof bag. Invest in that. I bought one the first year and it is still going strong 2 years later. So now you got a little bit of information. Get out there, have your experience. Just try to embrace it. It can be a bit hectic your first time, but it is really fun, especially this time of year. It is so miserably hot outside. Getting hit with a bucket of ice water honestly feels great. If you are planning a trip soon, or you're already here right now and would like to be updated on what's happening in Thailand, things to go do and see the full Thailand experience, you know what to do. We upload videos regularly, so that subscribe button is down below. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Happy Thai New Year's, and I will see you in the next video.